Jeremiah 33:14 through 18.
We can't hear you.
That's because I'm not up here in front of this mic.
Put a mic before me and see what happens. The days will surely come, says the Lord, when I will fulfill the promise I made to the house of Israel and to the house of Judah. In those days and that time, I will cause a righteous branch to spring up for David, and he shall execute justice and righteousness in the land. In those days, Judah will be saved, and Jerusalem will live in safety. And this is the name by which it will be called: the Lord is our righteousness. For thus says the Lord, David shall never lack a man to sit on the throne of the house of Israel. And the Levitical priest shall never lack a man in my presence to offer burnt offerings, to make gain offerings, and to make sacrifices for all time.
This service you may recognize from a few years back. One of the nice gifts that I have received since arriving here is the history. Kathy has shared with me some of the bulletins that have been used in the past, and that's been a great help for me, especially as we begin a season that is so rich in tradition and of which I'm totally clueless. So this service actually is one that, if you were here in 2018, you used the same service, and now since you're more familiar with it than I am, you're leading the service today, and I'm going to try to follow along. I'll try to follow along as if I were actually leading it. So if I make a mistake, you just say, no, that's not the way it goes, boy, and then I'll try to figure it out. We're going to do a few songs that you probably haven't heard. They have meaning for us as we travel during during Advent. And we, hopefully, as we get to the end, the story and it will be revealed. So thank you for allowing me to journey with you. This is the last Sunday that I don't exist, and perhaps I will exist next week. So I look forward to the time we might share together. Please rise if you are able as we sing together selection number 213. Join me responsibly reading the boldface type. How shall we prepare this house, that all who pass by will know that these are not ordinary days?
With round wreaths of green, with red ribbons on our doors, that
How shall we prepare this room that those who worship will know that Christ is Lord of lords and King of kings?
Garments of royal blue, with the color of royalty's presence, will drape the table where our offerings are placed, and the pulpit where God's word is read and proclaimed.
How shall we proclaim to our children that Christmas is more about what God gives us than what others may give them? Sanctuary tree different from all other trees we see. Now this is a time in which we get to place Chrismons on the tree. You probably already know, but it's always fun to be reminded that the Chrismons started actually in Danville, Virginia in 1957. I remember when I was a pastor early on, people might say, well, we never did this when I was a child. Well, we didn't ever do it because no one was doing it then. It began in 1957. The Chrismons are Christian symbols. I love the fact that we will have bright white lights reminding us of the purity of Christ's light. And we will have all of the Chrismons that will be there. Traditionally, they are in white and gold, which are two colors that are used during the Christmas season. So I invite you to come and join in that. We're going to turn off the Facebook feed. So of those of you that are watching on Facebook, now is the time I would suggest that you get out the Gospel according to Luke. And you begin reading in the first chapter, and you read on until we return. Now, I won't know if you leave the computer screen, but God will. Just easy. I hope that you'll join us later for the service when we pick it back up. But this will give you a time for meditation as we enjoy this time of preparing the sanctuary. I look forward to seeing you again. Let's go.